Hello reading rats, welcome to the ultimate fall book video. This is the most ideal video that I could be filming because it involves my favorite season, my favorite activity, which is reading and book shopping, and hanging out with you guys and drinking coffee. On the agenda is to update the reading journal, go book shopping, give you a big book haul, choose a book to read and read it, and just have cozy vibes. This is a stack of my most recently purchased books, but I'm gonna wait to show it to you guys until we go book shopping because I fear we're gonna need to buy a couple more books for my TBR. It's so cozy today. It's 70 degrees. It's been 85 all the time, so it feels so nice and chill. A little crisp in the air. And I think I'm gonna go visit my friend that's a barista at a coffee shop, get a little latte, and start a new book. I just finished a different video and I just finished this book, so it's time to start a new one. The book I think I'm going to start reading today is The Academy by Ellen Hilderbrand and her daughter Shelby Cunningham. I've actually never read an Ellen Hilderbrand book, which I know she is the queen of the beach reads. I tried to read one, I just didn't get that into it, so I definitely think next summer I will give her a go for all of the beach vibes, but this cover is giving fall. I really don't know anything about this book aside from there's boarding school involved, and in my head that gives Gossip Girl. So anything school related feels like fall. Let's go read, get a latte, and start the ultimate fall book video. I'm not kidding, I have not had this feeling towards a book in a minute, okay? Last night I read until 1 in the morning because I genuinely did not want to put this down. I feel like giddy talking about it because I'm enjoying it so much. I have like 10 pages left. I'll tell you about it when I finish the book, but I'm gonna make a coffee and then we'll talk about it. If I could describe the vibes of this book in TV shows, that's all I was thinking about while I was reading. It's like Gossip Girl. Characters like Chuck Bass, the wealth, the money, meets Pretty Little Liars, the small town setting, mystery. Everyone's kind of a little bit like, they've got some history and you're trying to figure out what it is, with a tidge, a tiny tidge of 13 Reasons Why. Those three shows combined are this book. This is gonna be the book that I recommend when people ask me what they should read now, because this is 100% the easiest 5-star. For some reason, I almost want to give it a 6-star. I'm really thinking about it. At bare minimum, she's a 5-star. It's written in third person, but you follow at different parts in the chapters different characters. There are so many different characters that just feel so unique and so spot on to what like wealthy high schoolers at boarding school would act like. You've got a super young new history teacher. Her name's Simone. She's from Canada. You don't know why she got taken out of her last position of work. And then there's this new girl, Charlie. She is super weird. She wears boat shoes. She dresses like she's in the 1500s, and people are very off-put by her and confused by her and also intrigued. Everyone just has their set of secrets and you just want to uncover the whole story. It feels so Gen Z, which I love. I feel like it was not cringe at all, never once. There's Dub, the quarterback football player. There's Davi, who's this British girl that has a massive Instagram and TikTok following. There's so many characters. They are written so well. If you are thinking about adding this to your fall TBR, add it, read it. The only complaint is that I do not love long chapters, and these chapters genuinely were almost an hour long to read each. Not all of them, but some of them. Instead of being like chapter differences, there's these little horse icons and they just kind of separate parts of the chapter instead of a chapter break, which is totally fine. I just love the instant gratification of a quick chapter, so despite that, I did not care at all. Also, an incredible audiobook. 10 out of 10, 5 stars, 6 stars maybe. I don't know what I'm gonna read next because this truly this topped everything for me. I started this book yesterday, and as you can see, I am halfway done with it. I'm on page 139. It took until 100 pages in for me to really clock what was going on. I honestly think if I hadn't audiobooked it, I would have had a really difficult time getting into it. It's set in the early 2000s, and you're following our narrator Percy as she's this college student in Berkeley, California. But as she's retelling it, she's definitely way older, and it's like she's looking back on these times of her life. So you spend some time in Berkeley, some time in New York, as this woman is in her 20s figuring out who she is, what her voice is. Even describing it that way feels like I'm doing an injustice to what it's all really still about, and it is so much about music. Even just seeing the cover. This is a vinyl, there's two people inside of it. The opening scene is of our main character Percy inside of a local hangout spot where she meets a man named Joe, and Percy has no musical talents of her own, but she's an insane critic of music. She has such an ear to listen to what sounds good, if a bridge is good, and she meets a man named Joe who really relies on her to help him with his music. I'll get into it more once I finish the book, but I'm halfway through. I'm wearing a cozy PJ set. I want to make pumpkin bread and then have a little cozy reading night. The recipe does not call for chocolate chips, but I will be adding them because who wants pumpkin bread that doesn't have chocolate chips in it?
I ain't never felt the kind of love like this before. You took all the worries from my mind. Darling, please forgive me if I stare a little more. I can't look away.
I feel like every time I film in here, something has changed. Lyndon and I made a gallery wall because whenever I start my podcast, I'm gonna sit right in that corner, and I just wanted it to look super cute, and the name of my podcast is right here. I don't know if you can read that. It's called Something About It. I also reorganized the bookshelves, and I feel like they look a little bit more cohesive because I obviously have so much bookshelf and not enough books to fill it. And I put my fall TBR right here, one of which I am nearly finished with deep cuts. I think I have 2 chapters-ish left. I really have enjoyed my time reading this. I kind of explained it earlier, but once I finish, I'll explain it again because I honestly am not fully sure how it's gonna end. I feel like if it falls really deep into the romance plot, then I know how it'll end, but if it doesn't, I feel like I don't know what the conclusion will be. On the agenda today is to finish deep cuts, go to the library, I wanna work on my reading journal, do a September wrap-up of the books I read in September. It's so easy to forget to fill in the reading journal because I feel like I have so many different journals for different things, but I really do want to be consistent and lock in on that one. Definitely need to get a coffee, and also really have to stop at Barnes & Noble because, as you guys maybe have watched, Haley, my best friend, chooses what I read for this whole entire month, and there's one more book that she chose for me that I don't physically have that I want to go buy. Let's go have a bookish day. I saved this coffee cup so that I could make my coffee at home in it and feel like I bought it out. I feel like everyone does this. The moment we've all been waiting for. Ooh, this is not even all of the books that I have purchased recently. Oh my gosh. This truly is the ultimate fall book haul. Even the colors of all of these books literally are so fall. They're brown, they're red, they're yellow, they're happy, they're orange. Let's start with deep cuts because I also want to review this for you guys right now. I finished it today at the library. This book is so unique. I've never read a book like this. You start off following Percy, our main character, who's a college student at Berkeley, and she has a deep love and fascination for all things music. She herself is not musically talented. She doesn't sing, she doesn't play music, but she has an ear to hear what sounds good in music and songwriting. So Percy meets Joe, and Joe is an insane singer. And essentially you follow Percy mainly, but Percy and Joe through their 20s really. Through hardship where they don't talk anymore, through working together, collaborating. It truly is the most toxic relationship I think I've ever read about. It was written sort of like a mix of stream of consciousness writing where the narrator's just taking you through her day and her life and where she is and moving to New York and living back in Berkeley and all of these different things where you're just part of her retelling the story, but it's not full stream of consciousness because it does follow some sort of prose and writing style, so it's structured but also stream of consciousness. I really enjoyed reading it. I audiobooked the majority of it, and I honestly wonder if I shouldn't have done that because I think I would have enjoyed it more had I read it and not listened to it. But I give this a 4-star. It definitely is high fall vibes because the beginning takes place in college. Anything college related to me feels like fall. And it's the early 2000s, which the early 2000s aesthetic is fall. If you love music, honestly, you would love reading this. I'm so curious about the author's backstory because this is like way too much knowledge on music, on artists, on songs that I've just never heard other than musicians be able to talk like this. Debut novel, insane work. Book number 1 from my haul. Next, I'm just gonna show you guys all of the books that I purchased for my October TBR that my best friend Haley picked. This was one of the books on there. Next book, I have finally become a Book of the Month member. This is not sponsored. I was just waiting for what book subscription service I wanted to sign up for, and I saw a couple, tested a couple, and I've landed on Book of the Month. I've worked with them in the past. They're an amazing team, and I just like the aesthetics going on. They always have early and new releases as well, which is how I got this book early. This month, maybe because I'm a new member, it came with a hat. This is going to be the first fantasy that I ever read. Alchemy of Secrets by Stephanie Garber. Haley picked this for me to read. It's got the sprayed edges, which is so fun, and it is not released yet. So I just think that's so fun that Book of the Month gets early access to certain books. Just look at how fall the vibes are. I'm gonna put them back here. You could just watch the fall vibes occur. You Between the Lines by Katie Naiman. I actually have this right now on the library app, so I've been reading it on my Kindle. You follow Lee as she starts a master's program for writing. Very much up my alley. I'm very early on, but this is the next book that I've been reading. Next, You Again by Katie Goldbeck. This is apparently a kind of retelling of When Harry Met Sally, which is a very, very classic rom-com, early 2000s or even late 90s. I have not watched it and I have not read this, but I'm excited. This is the book you saw me purchase today at Barnes & Noble, The Other Side of Now by Paige Harbison. I'm very intrigued by books where there are alternate realities / universes occurring where one little decision you made could have changed the trajectory of your whole life. I only know what Haley's told me about this, so I'm intrigued. I'm ready to read it this month. The Reappearance of Rachel Price. This is a mystery. I am starting a book club with a few of my friends here in California. I've wanted to do this for the longest time, and one of my really good friends just moved back to California, and she told me she would love to be part of a book club if I ever started one, and I just took that as my sign that it's time. So this is going to be book club's book of the month for October, and I'm gonna make a little vlog setting up for book club because we're gonna host it at my apartment, and I just always wanted to do that. Last book for my October TBR is The Unmaking of June Farrow by Adrienne Young. Don't know anything about this. Ooh, in a small mountain town in North Carolina. I'm going to North Carolina in 2 days, so I'm gonna definitely bring this book. No idea what's happening in the book, but I will be in North Carolina, so I will be reading this in North Carolina. Next is The Secret History. This is the book I picked up from my local bookshop, and I just love going to the very small, quaint local bookstores. You just feel like you have to buy something when you walk in because how are they staying afloat? I don't know. I got The Secret History. I definitely want to read it this fall. My fall TBR feels massive and I do not know how I'll get it all done. But this is there. It's not up there, but it's on my radar. Next is The Lion Women of Tehran. I actually purchased this for my friend for her birthday, and then when I opened the book, I realized it was signed by the author, and I was like, that's a little bit too cool for me to not get myself one, so I went back to Target and I bought myself one. They were all signed by the author. Very cool. I know it's historical fiction. That's one of my favorite genres, and I love the raw pages. I don't know when I'll read this, but I bought it. Next up, The Bright Years. This is actually not really on my fall TBR. This is just a book that I saw the cover of. I was very intrigued. I feel like Emily Henry maybe gave it a 5-star on Goodreads, or I saw it somewhere. Someone gave it a 5-star. I'm excited to read this eventually and just have it on my shelf. Next is Wild Dark Shore. I actually read this last month. I just wanted to have the physical copy myself because I loved it so much. Gave it a 5-star. It's a literary fiction, but also kind of a thriller and dystopian vibes. You follow this family, single dad, 3 of his kids, that basically are caretakers of this island, and a woman washes up ashore. They're the only people on the island. There's no real way for the rest of the world to access the island, so everyone's very confused. Who is she? Why is she there? She has her own reasons. So good. Read it in literally 1.5 days. This is the book I read earlier this week. The Academy. I have decided, guys, I have decided that this is a 6-star book, meaning we now have 2 books in my 6-star category. The Nightingale by Kristen Hanna and The Academy by Ellen Hilderbrand and her daughter Shelby Cunningham. I absolutely can't stop thinking about this book. It's such an odd 6-star to me because it's not a 6-star the way The Nightingale ripped at my heart and just absolutely destroyed me. It's a 6-star in that I truly have no notes. It couldn't have been written better. I couldn't have enjoyed it more, and I wish I could reread it right now and not have any remembrance of the book at all. I wish the chapters weren't so long. I do hate that, to be honest, but it was worth it for this book. Last book for my book haul is from my mom. She was at the airport and she saw this book and thought of me, which is just the sweetest thing ever. Look at the sprayed edges. I've been displaying it this way because I just have not seen a cuter sprayed edge for any season ever. It's called Falling Like Leaves. I think it's a YA romance. The blurb is from Lynn Painter, who wrote Better Than the Movies, which is the best high school YA romance ever. So I'm expectant, I'm excited, and that is the massive book haul that I promised you guys and you got. Before I sign off from the ultimate fall book video, I wanted to talk about my reading journal and show you guys my new pages. We passed September. I read 7 books, which honestly is not my record. I think I've done that before, but it's very rare for me to read 7 books in a month. I usually read 3 to 4, so very happy about that. This is now my September wrap up. I just gave a little blurb of my thoughts towards each of the books that I read this last month, and then this is my October calendar. I'm again gonna do the same thing as I did for September, where all I'm doing is writing the name of the book with the star rating on the day that I finish the book. I already have a planner and a calendar elsewhere, so that's the only reason I would use a calendar in my reading journal. And then you flip the page and it's my October TBR, which are all the books that Haley picked for me. So I'm curious if I'll end up reading more than just these 7, but these are my priority, of course. And that's it for now. Thanks for watching this video. I always have the best time with the little reading rats. I love this corner of the internet and this specific niche of reading. It's the most fun thing ever, and I love just talking about books. I love you guys. Let me know what's on your fall TBR or what book you're reading right now. I love getting ideas for books to add to my list / purchase to fill the bookshelves. I love you guys.